Hey gang, Kai and Ted here with you from Exped, and today we want to give you a little bit of a rundown on the fitting of our packs that utilize the T-Rex frame. And in this case, we're going to use the Lightning pack to do that. So I'm going to turn it over to Ted. He's going to be your guide in this, and I will be your fit model.
As always.
Yes.
First thing to do when you want to fit up a pack, by the way, this is a pretty easy process, but to make it a little bit easier, you might go ahead and grab your old sleeping bag, stuff it in on the inside, and then take some water bottles just so we have a little bit of load to work with inside the pack. Don't load it up with all your normal overnight stuff. We will be taking the pack off and on several times, so you don't want it to be too heavy. So with that said, go ahead and start with all the straps, every piece of load lifter, side stabilizer, hip belt, all loosened up, and then proceed to fit it onto the body. Now the first thing we want to do is go ahead and get the hip belt locked on to the appropriate location. This is 60% of your fit. You get this in the right location and you will have a very, very comfortable pack. This should be sitting on the iliac crest, nice and snug on the hip bones. The next thing we're going to do is focus on torso length. And torso length is really critical because it's different in every person. So we want to make sure that we get the appropriate torso length dialed in. So if you're a tall person, doesn't mean you necessarily have a long torso. Everybody's a little bit different, so we're going to size this up appropriately. Now, on the T-Rex frame, it's very easy to do. You can see you can just slide the hip belt, the shoulder harness, pardon me, up or down, right along the stay like that. If it's too low, you're going to have too much stress on the pads. If it's too high, we don't get enough contact. So what we're going to do is dial this in so that we're getting as much contact as we can right around the shoulder harness, like so. You want pad contact all the way around. Now I'm going to go ahead and have you snug that up just a little bit just so I can see what we're looking at. Not too tight. That's good. Kai, I'm going to have you take this off right now. And what we're going to do now is we're going to lock on or lock in the actual torso length. And that's what's so slick on the T-Rex frame system. What's nice about this, in order to lock in this particular position right here, I've got this nice piece of webbing that allows me to go ahead and dial in the length and the distance between the hip belt and the shoulder harness. So I snug it up like so, take the webbing, lay it back, and then go ahead and take the lumbar pad and Velcro it right back into position right there. Now I have my torso length dialed in. And we're going to go to the next phase, which is locking these pads into place, the lumbar, the hip belt, and the shoulder harness, and then strap the bag to those pads that are appropriately located. So Kai, go ahead and lock that back in on the hip belt. And now we want to go ahead and take the shoulder harness and snug that up appropriately. So it's a nice, comfortable, nice wrap around. Is that feeling pretty good there, Kai?
Feels good.
Good, okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to adjust the load lifters. The load lifters are coming off the top of the T-Rex frame system right there, and those allow the load to be drawn forward onto Kai. And what he'll do, I have this slightly misadjusted, sorry about that. I loosened it up a little bit too much. There you go.
Got it.
Kai, you can snug that forward. Now, depending upon the torso length of the person, if this person had a shorter torso, we might want to use the lower buckle. In this case right here, Kai's got sort of a mid-range, and working off the higher load lifter position is proper so that we can get this about a 45-degree departure angle off of the shoulder harness. So we got a nice smooth wrap from the bottom of the pack around the shoulder, about a 45-degree angle right here. The other thing we might want to play with is the adjustment of this slider right at the front of the shoulder. You want to go ahead and have this run right off the collarbone, just a little bit behind the collarbone, so we've got this nice smooth angle off the front of the shoulder. So that looks like it's positioned quite well. The next adjustment we have is down here around the hip, and this basically locks the bottom of the pack onto the hip belt. We call these side stabilizers, and those can be tensioned along the trail as you're going along if you want the pack to be snugged in a little bit closer, or if you want to go ahead and have more pivot capability. You can see when I loosen these up and watch Kai's movement right there, you've got a lot more movement there. Or again, snugged in if you want the pack to ride more closely on either side. Last but not least is the sternum strap. And the sternum strap serves the purpose of distributing the weight across the chest, and it also keeps the shoulder harnesses from sliding off the edge of the shoulders when you're walking down. Now, all of the adjustments we did here with the load lifters, with the sternum strap, and the side stabilizers, those are all designed to be adjusted while you're hiking. So you might like something snug at one point, loosened up at a later point. Play with those on the trail as you're going down. The other thing to remember, now that we've got the pack basically fit up, is that just like a shoe, when you get ready to take a shoe off, you go ahead and you loosen the laces, or you should if you don't. Same thing with load lifters, side stabilizers, and sternum straps. Loosen all the straps. That way when you go to put the pack back on, all you're doing is adjusting load lifters, sternum strap, and side stabilizers to make the pack fit properly again. With that basic adjustment right there, you should be set to go. See you out there.
Thanks a lot.